Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time I want to take a look at this graphic novel here. This is Marvel graphic novel number 18, The Sensational She-Hulk, from 1985, written and drawn by Byrne, and with Kim DeMulder doing the inks and Petra Scotis on colors. And I think they both did a really good job. I think the colors are really well done here. So I want to give them credit. And I seldom talk about the letterists, but I don't know who the letterist is. Probably Byrne himself. He often did his own lettering back then. Okay. And of course, this is at this time that this graphic novel takes place. She-Hulk was a member of the Fantastic Four. Now, I prefer this version of She-Hulk, the Savage She-Hulk, from 79 through, was it 80, 81? 80, I think it was. And that's the version I like best, when she was still monster-ish. But this is a natural evolution. While the Hulk is a monster, and she is monster-ish initially, she evolves into a regular superhero type, not monsterish. But for those who don't know, is that, of course, She-Hulk graphic novel number 18 by from 1985 by Byrne, etc. She-Hulk is a character from Marvel Comics created by Stan Lee and John Buscema, first appearing in The Savage She-Hulk number 1 in 1979. She is Jennifer Walters, an attorney and cousin to Bruce Banner, the Hulk. And she is a victim of a drive-by shooting and assassination attempt, and is saved by an emergency blood transfusion from Bruce Banner. His was the only blood available. They were the same blood type under the circumstances, and but he was concerned about what the results of that transfusion would be. But it was either that or let her die. And that turned her into the She-Hulk. Initially, she retained her intellect and personality, but was driven by anger and was monsterish. I have wondered, and I'm sure many others have as well, says, why has she been so Hulk-like compared to other gamma-powered characters, such as the Abomination, the Leader, and Doc Samson. And I conclude, I don't know, I've never seen anything about this in the comics or anything, but I would conclude that it has something to do with genetics, since she and Bruce share about 25% of their genetics. It is reasonable that she would be affected similarly to him by the gamma stuff. And of course, she's a much lower power level, which is why she also probably retains her intellect, although she is kind of anger driven. And so she is nowhere near his power level, but she is one of the most powerful female superhero characters in the Marvel Universe. And she has been part of several superhero teams, part of the Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D., Defenders, Fantastic Four, etc. And She is very has become very very popular, and even to the recent, uh, relatively recent Disney Plus TV series of the She-Hulk, which I know nothing about because I can't watch it since I don't do streaming TV. And Disney has this bad habit of not releasing their stuff on DVD. So, on DVD or Blu-ray, I call it all DVD, but now this is the cover, of course, drawn by John Byrne, and very striking just because it's solid black, and then the solid green for her skin tone. Now I conclude, I don't know this for sure, I've not read anything about it, but I conclude that he modeled this image of She-Hulk from probably Rachel McLish, because it looks so much like her, and just like several of the, so many of the still photographs that I've seen of her. Could also have been Lisa Lyon, but maybe someone else. But I would conclude that was taken from a photo reference of Rachel McLish. Now, for those who are too young or just unaware, Rachel McLish and Lisa Lyon were both pioneering individuals in the female bodybuilding sport in the late 70s and early 80s. Rachel McLish was, I think, world champion for 2 years, and she was the better known of those two, and they were the best known at that time through the early 80s. Now, also, just a little side note is that female bodybuilding at that time is considerably different from the modern female bodybuilding, or the way it's been the last 20, 25 years. At that time, the female bodybuilding of that time is more akin to modern fitness competitors. Rather, they were lean and not so bulky, and a lot of the modern female bodybuilders are very, very bulky. And in fact, that is even reflected in the way some of the artists render She-Hulk. Because just something I saw recently with her, and she looks more like a modern bodybuilder. She is very bulky, which is fine, but she's maybe a little too bulky. But all in all, she is a fine character, and very popular in in some quarters. Oh, and I did want to mention, in case you didn't know, that the whole reason that she was created in the first place is because of the live action Hulk TV series, which was very popular at the time, and Marvel, Stan Lee and Marvel executives were concerned that in light of some of the popular female characters on TV, Charlie's Angels and stuff, and the fact that they had the Bionic Woman spinoff, who is a very popular female version of the $6 Million Man, they were concerned that they might, and I guess there was, from the producers of the show, there was even some talk of doing a female version of the Incredible Hulk. So Stan Lee and Marvel wanted to nip that in the bud, leap right into it and create their own female version of the Hulk before they could, because if the production company created a female version of the Hulk, they would own the rights to that character, and Marvel would not. So that's background on She-Hulk, and I've already talked too much. Okay, we start off here. We're going to take a look. It's a graphic novel, so I'm going to go be a lot more briefly. Here is a step back in time. See, one of the last of the above ground nuclear tests. Of course, this is being told from a 35-year-old perspective. At that time, and here is young Jennifer Walters meeting her still young cousin Bruce Banner for the first time while they were still kids, and here is this homeless guy walking in the desert. That is all we know from then. So then we see Nick Fury is Shield, and his the what do they call them? The bigwigs at Shield. I forgot what they're called, committee or whatever, are going at Nick Fury because they are concerned that She-Hulk presents a danger because the original Hulk has been and will be again many times a public menace, and they are concerned that She-Hulk might become the same way. And Fury says, no, that's not likely. I know Jen, yada yada yada, because at this point she has no secret identity. And so it says, but you do this, I won't have anything to do with it. I'm going on leave. Good. And he walks out. Then we go to Jennifer Walters at her apartment with Wyatt Wingfoot, who is a long-time secondary Fantastic Four character. And she is, of course, at this time a member of the Fantastic Four, while Ben Grimm is off on a cosmic walkabout. So, and they talk. They're about to go out on a date to a show, but they've got a little bit of time, so she just grabs Wyatt and walks off to the bedroom. Meanwhile, Shield guys, there's Dum Dum Dugan. They're following orders. Dugan doesn't like this either. They're trying to isolate She-Hulk because they're told to snatch her up. And want a thorough examination to ensure that she won't go nutso on them. So here she is in what only looks like a stripper tuxedo, because she's dressed up. Now remember, at this time she chooses to be She-Hulk. Initially she only, like the original Hulk, she hulked out when she got angry or distressed or something. Later, she is able to transform back and forth at will, and she is choosing to remain almost permanently the She-Hulk. So here she is. So she's wearing her stripper tuxedo. They're going to a Broadway show, and that's when the Shield goons pop in because apparently they have Star Trek transporters, and they are wearing battle armor that is very reminiscent, very Byrnian battle armor, reminiscent of his robot stuff, like ROG 2000 that he did at Charlton a decade before. So they try to snatch her. Well, they're very goonish about it, and she starts cleaning house. Boom, 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 and trying to get Wyatt to stay back, or he gets involved, and they're trying to keep the innocent people back so that they don't get injured. And so all the gloves are off when they zap her. She just grabs a car and whacks the guy. And I hope Shield gets the bill for all this damage. And she's just cleaning house, whack, whack, whack. So they order a wide-range transport. And then they are beamed out to this location, from that location to this location, including some civilians as well as a smashed-up car. Then notice one of the people that get beamed up is this homeless guy. So here are a few shield goons right there. She grabs the armored goon and tosses them and takes out all the non-armored shield goons, rips a hole in the wall, and says, "We've got to get. I think we're underground. We've got to get out of here." Well, while they're going through the I can only call it Jeffrey's tubes, the homeless guy, he kind of takes off on his own. Then they get gassed. Well, She-Hulk and Wyatt manage to get out, but the others are taken down by the knockout gas. They get out. They're on the surface. They're not underground. All these aircraft looks like an airfield. They run around, and they're on this great double-page spread. And of course, all John Byrne art is some really nice art, great visual storytelling, etc. They're on the helicarrier. So, they're screwed now. So now they get taken prisoner, and this head goon, his name is Dooley. threatens Wyatt if she doesn't strip, because following regulations, blah blah blah, is what his excuse. But has her strip in front of everybody. Then Dum Dum, he gets there and he's shocked, and he is all PO'd, chewing Dooley out. Look how red he is in the face, and relieves him, tells him get dressed, takes her to the office, says, I'm sorry, I'm under orders, yada yada yada, and then Dooley said, I've got friends in high places. Well, Dooley comes back and said, you're relieved. His friends in high places put him in charge, and told Dum Dum to get the hell out of there. So then they take She-Hulk to the lab, where he makes her strip again. Then he leaves, and there he does various examinations. And to his credit, the doctor there, he apologizes profusely for it. While she comes back, she's exhausted. They take her into the cell where they've already got Wyatt. Toss her in the cell, and said, "Oh, it's okay." As she recovers herself, and he says, we can't get out of here. Besides, they got adamantium bars, so she can't even break out. And but one more thing, they've got it's weight sensitive on the floor, and she rigs up a thing for Wyatt to keep the weight the same, and because remember, she can change back and forth at will, so she changes back into Jennifer Walters, who is small enough to slip through the bars when She-Hulk and Wyatt are not, and he is barely able to maintain that weight. She shuts the thing off so they're safe, they won't get gassed, but now they still can't get him out. So she goes try to find wanders around, gets confronted. Said, alert, intruder alert, and Dooley says, yeah, he rushes out of his office, and that homeless guy grabs him by the throat and kisses him, but it's not what you think. Then the homeless guy collapses as a corpse, and Dooley is under some distress. He's been taken over, and you can hear the monologue being presented by whatever it is. Well, Jen is kind of hiding, sees Dooley walk by, and then she turns back into the She-Hulk, and breaks into the office, sees that Dooley was having a good old time watching the videos of her examination, when suddenly, boom, everything goes haywire. The rotors on the port side have stopped, and the ship is listing horribly. The situation I have been very familiar with on a submarine, but never up in the air. Aircraft start sliding off. They get all the aircraft off they can, and get some of the aircraft crashing down to Earth. And they try to get out over some open terrain. Well, then She-Hulk discovers the corpse of the homeless guy. Turns out it was a corpse all the time. It's all so that Dooley is like a zombie of some kind. And She-Hulk stops they're trying to. Shield goons trying to take her down. She disarms them, says, "We're in trouble." Dooley has sealed himself into the engineering section, in total control of the rotors. We can't get in. The only way in is from the outside, and we can't get in from the outside, but she can. They finally gave her some clothes to wear of a sort, and while they are horribly listing, Shulky goes through from the outside on the line and confronts Dooley Zombie. Yeah, Dooley Zombie, and turns out it's some kind of mutant colony of cockroaches or some other kind of bugs that have a collective consciousness and have taken over and have survived for who knows how many generations inside people's bodies and taken over their bodies, and now is in Dooley. But Dooley busts open and she's got these bugs all over the place. And she tries to get the rotor back on, but it was booby-trapped. Kablooey! The rotors blow off, and now, crashing to Earth. Abandoned ship. Everyone gets out on the escape pods. Just leave Wyatt, Shulky, and the doctor, and says, They stay behind, and they activate which is what do they call it? Vortex beams. Basically some kind of resistance beam, and slows and softens the crash of the helicarrier. It still crashes, boom, but not as devastatingly as it had it before, or would have. And Shulky and Wyatt and the Doc are banged up, but they're okay. This is when they learn, the reactor is about to go supercritical, and it'll go big boom. We can't get out of here, and it will devastate a huge part of New Mexico. I don't know how they got from New York to New Mexico so fast, but that's the way it is. So Shulky is the only one has a chance of surviving and resisting the radiation in there. She goes in with instructions from the Doc. She smashes in, and there are the bugs, and they start attacking her. She manages to shut down the reactor just in time, but she is inundated by the super intelligent mutated bugs, and they don't hear from her for a bit. She comes out, she's covered in bug goo. So she had been stomping those roaches into oblivion. Sometime later, everything's a-okay. She's back with Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four being examined by him to see what the effects were, because she had got quite a another dose of radiation, and he says, "Here is got good news and I got some bad news." And he goes, "The bad news and the good news is you're fine, but put a genetic lock on the radiation already in your cells. Says you can never become Jennifer Walters again. I'm sorry, Jen." And then this is a good bit of story. He does this a lot. Bit of storytelling. The same panel. Boom, beat, beat, beat. So what's the bad news? She's got no problem with not being able to turn back into Jennifer Walters. And this is when she is permanently the She-Hulk. And of course, this is 4 years before John Byrne took over the sensational She-Hulk title. In that interim, he had moved over to DC, did the Superman reboot and a bunch of other stuff over there. Then came back to Marvel and took on Shulky, and did some great stuff. I've enjoyed all the John Byrne She-Hulk books that I've read. And I really enjoy this, although I still prefer the Savage She-Hulk. So that's what I've got for you this time. It took me longer than I had anticipated, but I hope you enjoyed The Sensational She-Hulk by John Byrne from 1985. So that's all I've got for you. Do please like, share, and comment. What era of She-Hulk do you like best? What are your favorite She-Hulk creators? What iteration? Do you like the TV show better than the comics, or vice versa? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, comics are art.